You're looking to buy a new helmet, but you can't decide between going aero or lightweight and vented. Well, fear not. In this video, we're going to explain the differences because both have advantages and disadvantages, and using some science, we're going to demonstrate the point at which aero is more beneficial than lightweight and vice versa. To make this video possible, we've teamed up with Ava, who've provided us with their top-end Game Changer 2 and Airbreaker helmets, which are used by the likes of Carne and Movistar. Don't worry though, the information we're going to discuss is relevant to other helmets too.
Now, before we get onto the differences of these helmets in terms of aero, weight and cooling and the impacts that those things have, let's first discuss the similarities.
And the first one is safety. So the sort of equivalent lightweight and aero model from a particular brand will offer a similar level of protection. And by law, all helmets that are sold in territories like the EU, North America, Australasia, and many others have to conform to strict safety regulations.
In addition to that, although not a requirement by law, many premium helmets, be that lightweight or aero, will feature a kind of slip plane technology in the form of something like MIPS or a similar system. These are designed to reduce the rotational forces transferred to your head in the unfortunate incident that you suffer an impact. And independent testing has shown these to be pretty beneficial.
And the next thing is price. So the top of the range aero and lightweight models from a given brand tend to be similarly priced. Although if you're going for an aero helmet, they only tend to become available in the sort of mid-range and above. If you're in the market for an entry-level helmet, they're usually neither particularly aero or particularly lightweight. They're just kind of helmets, but they do the core job of protecting your head.
With that out of the way, onto the differences. Well, in terms of weight, the Game Changer 2, our aero helmet, in a size medium is weighing in at 265 grams, whereas in a medium, over here, the vented helmet, the Airbreaker, is weighing in at 210 grams. I mean, both of these helmets feel light, but this one is kind of ridiculous.
But what difference does that weight saving actually make on a climb? Well, maths can tell us. So on a bucket list climb, something like Sacalobra here in Mallorca, 9.5 kilometers at 7%, with a 55 gram weight saving, I'd look to save in the region of 1 second. Not much at all. However, traveling at 18 to 20 kilometers per hour, if I was doing an effort, I'd actually expect to get that back by wearing the aero helmet because it'd give me a slight drag reduction and I'd expect to break even. However, if you're going to be riding below 16 kilometers an hour or on steeper climbs, then the lightweight vented helmet becomes a marginal gain. So if you're a pure climber or going to be participating in hill climb races, lightweight with lots of vents, it's probably the way to go.
However, if you are wanting to perform on the flat or the downhill, or perhaps a combination of climbs and descents in something like a Gran Fondo, maths tells us that the fastest option is going to be the aero lid. Now, the exact difference between an aero lid and a lightweight one is going to vary from person to person and brand to brand.
But we have done wind tunnel tests before with the help of the bike tailor on the difference between aero helmets and lightweight vented ones. And we're going to say it falls between a range because of what Alex has said. It varies from helmet to helmet and person to person. You're typically looking at a range in drag coefficients between 0.005 and 0.01 in CDA. Now those numbers won't mean much to most people, so put into context, if we are applying those to something like the Étape de Tours, this year's route, for the average rider completing that would represent something like a 2-minute saving in your total time. Might not sound like much. If we apply those same reductions in drag to a 40-kilometer time trial with a rider trying to average 40 kilometers an hour, a common goal for good cyclists, then it turns into either a 20 or a 40-second time saving, which in the context of a time trial is more than the difference between winning and losing.
Now those time savings might be important to you, or they might not be. It really depends on your perspective and whether you're racing or not. But either way, now that you've got that information, you're more informed to go out into the world and make an informed decision on what helmet you buy. However, from my perspective, coming at this as an ex-racer wanting to go fast and win sprints, it's going to be the Aero helmet for me. Woo!
But, Alex, lightweight vented helmets are not just about being lightweight. Cooling is also super important and something that I feel is underrated. Right now, we've seen the pros placing huge emphasis on cooling with ice bottles, ice vests, ice packs down their back and drinking, you know, slush puppies all the time. With all that considered, you could say that it's a hot topic.
Kill me now. In all seriousness though, heat management is a big deal and there's lots of really interesting research going on about it at the moment. You see, because when you're exercising, your body is generating heat. And if you can't thermoregulate, your body is quickly going to overheat and that's drastically going to impact performance. And over big events such as, say, the Etape du Tour or when you and I try to ride a lap of the island of Mallorca, it can have a big impact on how you get on.
It can. And it's not rocket science. Simply by having more vents, a helmet can offer greater ventilation and help keep you cooler and help the heat escape from your head. And this can help actually keep you cooler, but also just make you feel more comfortable. And the science is clear. Sports physiologists have published papers showing that when you feel more comfortable, you actually perform better. If you feel discomfort, and that could be through overheating, your performance can be affected.
To see if we can see a difference in the two helmets, I am going to cycle up this climb in Mallorca with each different helmet. That's 30 degrees here, so it's pretty blooming hot.
Yeah. What we are going to do is put a core body temperature sensor on Alex so we can accurately measure his body temperature and how it changes with the different helmets on. He's going to ride at a set power output and we're also going to look at his heart rate, see how that changes, and just his perceived rate of exertion on the climb. Like I say, well, it's up to about 32 degrees now today, so really hot.
Just to be totally clear on this, the core body temperature sensor is up here, not in the other place people might be thinking of.
Right, run one, vented helmet first.
I'm pretty much set to go. Is it definitely boiling? Baseline body temperature, 37.2.
So we need to make sure it's that when you start the second run as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, do you want me to give you some beeps?
Well, I hope it's cool. Yeah, beat me in.
Beep, 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 beep. He's off.
Now I can feel my body starting to get warm, but so far, no budge on the physical core body temperature reading that I've got. Now, as Ollie and I have already mentioned in this video, your perception of pain and heat is a very different thing to the reality of a physical measurement. About 4 or 5 minutes into our climb now, I think I'm just starting to feel the first bead of sweat coming down the side of my forehead. 220 watts so far. So we're going to need to replicate second time round. Body temperature still sitting firm, no change. I'm definitely getting warm though. The sweat's starting to roll down the side of my face. It's going to come to a stop here. 3, 2, here we go. Right, slap that off. Test number 1, vented helmet, done.
On to round 2. Alex's temperature has stabilise back to where it was when we did the first one. Aero helmet time. Beeps.
Please.
Beep, 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 beep.
And we're off. Okay, we're underway. Aero helmet, as you can see. But initial off-the-cuff thoughts and reaction. I can feel that there's less wind flowing through onto my hair and head. Whether it makes a difference, well, that remains to be seen. But initial thoughts are it is noticeable. As I mentioned on our first run with the vented helmet, I think I'm starting to get to the point now where I can feel the first little bead of sweat on my forehead. And we are definitely at a slightly earlier point in the climb. Not by much, I can see it was just up there last time, but it's a difference. I do feel slightly warmer. Right, nearly there now. Last little bit. In 3, in 2, in 1. There we go, pause. Lap done. Aero helmet, test 2, finished and over. Let's find Dr. Oliver Bridgewood, discuss those results.
You've done your runs, Alex.
Yeah.
What was the difference in temperature first?
So first run, vented helmet, 37.2 average body temperature for that run.
Yeah.
Second one, Aero helmet, 37.3. So we've got an increase in body temperature.
And now it's shot up to 37.5, so maybe there's a lag.
So I think there is probably a lag. So
Yeah.
one thing, during the effort, noticeable increase in temperature, although very small. But as you say, maybe it operates in a very similar way to the delay in heart rate increase response.
Yeah, the other thing I can see is just by looking at you right now, you are dripping.
Yeah, I have
so I
sweated
think that your
more.
body is actually, although your temperature's regulating, your body's thermoregulating, you are visibly sweating more, which I'm surprised to see. I wouldn't have thought it'd be that much.
It's 30 degrees there, it's boiling.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, I think I mentioned as I was cycling up in terms of perceptions of effort and your body temperature, there was definitely that perception of, okay, I'm starting to feel very slightly hotter, and I'm also very aware that there was less airflow over my head, which was, is a clear difference between the two.
Yeah, and this is, it could be significant on a really hot ride. It's not a major thing, because I think if I was doing a long ride or a Gran Fondo, I could still, even in the heat, I could still complete it wearing an Aero helmet.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop you completing that ride, I don't feel, but it could make a difference in terms of your cooling and your overall performance.
Yeah.
And that's going to vary from person to person and on the weather conditions of the day. On balance, I would say whether or not you go for an Aero or a lightweight helmet is going to depend on a whole host of factors, including where you do most of your riding and where you wish to perform the most, whether that's on steep climbs or whether you're more of a sort of Aero time trialist type rider that wants to go as fast as you can on the flat.
It's also going to vary brand to brand and ever so slightly dependent on your body position when you're cycling.
Yep, and also in terms of where you live. So, for example, we live in the UK. I feel that we can get away with wearing an Aero helmet pretty much all year because it very rarely gets above 30 degrees.
I think that's a good statement. I like it. It's really down to personal preference, isn't it? We've given everybody the information to go away, take with them, and sort of make an informed decision on what you want to do. Yeah,
if you found this video useful, then you know what to do. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, if you're lucky enough to have any. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. And if you'd like actually a look at cooling and thermoregulation and the science of cooling in more detail, make sure you subscribe, because we've got a video coming up with a leading sports scientist on the subject.
Also, I really want to know, similar to the Aero versus lightweight bike debate that rages on, let us know in the comments whether you're a lightweight or an Aero helmet kind of person. Right, we're out of here. See you later. Bye.